The theatre, it means so much to me personally. It's a place where I feel I've grown the most as a human being, probably for the largest period of my life, really.
Place where stories get to be told from people of all different walks of life with different backgrounds, different experiences. It's a place where change can literally be made and can impact an audience so much that it changes the way we think about things that we experience. It's a place where people get to express themselves creatively no matter who you are, where you've come from, and I just think it's got such a sense of empowerment to it that anyone can get involved with it and anyone is welcome. And I think theatre has the capabilities of making massive, massive changes and gives people a voice that might not necessarily have one in day-to-day society. So yeah, for me, theatre's all about empowerment.
For me, I think theatre's all about connection, that live connection as an actor that you get with the audience and with the other actors on stage sometimes creates something magical. And then even as an audience member, this whole room of people are watching this whole story come alive live in front of our face, and we're sometimes laughing together and we're gasping together and sometimes getting emotional together, and I don't really think there's another feeling like it.
It's me. I'd be here all day on this video if I told you what theatre meant to me. It's so important in my life, not just the theatre community, which I class as some of my best friends amongst the theatre community, actors, writers, directors, performers and creatives in general, and people who are in the theatre administration industry. I class a lot of them as good friends. And
well, I think there's two answers to this question. What theatre means to me as a performer, it's escapism. It's joy, it's storytelling, it's captivating somebody else and sharing a space with somebody to have this connected experience through you creating another world, imagining another place, another person, another time, and expressing that. It's an incredible feeling when it's the first night and there's an audience there and the curtain's shut and you're stood behind that curtain. It's a feeling like no other.
My dream role is Frankenfurter and Rocky Horror. For years I thought I'd never be able to really prove myself as an actor. I always thought like, oh, I've not done much theatre, and I didn't go to a performing arts school, so I'll never get to do those things. But I used to look at Tim Curry in the Rocky Horror Show, and then I went to go see it a few times, and I was always like, my God, I love that. I love that character. I love just how completely out there it is and unapologetic it is. And I think I could bring something to that. And I used to always look at it, and now it's something that I mean, I've not got a musical theatre background. That's probably what's going to hold me back. But I never say never, because one day I do secretly dream of playing that part.
My dream role would probably be in the musical Oliver, performing the part of Fagin. It's a part that I was very grateful to be able to play for a youth group and amateur group a while back. But to be able to play that part professionally would be an absolute dream come true. It's a part that takes a lot of characterization. It's a part that demands a lot physically, even though you're playing a character who is around 70 years old. It still demands a lot with his mannerisms, and I think the epitome of that role will always be Ron Moody. No matter whenever you go and watch an actor play that role, you're always thinking back to how he played it originally.
My dream role is probably to play the Phantom in Phantom of the Opera. Now I say dream role because I can't really sing the top notes. So it is a bit of a dream, but I'm sure one day I'll get there, hopefully. I'll be able to do it, and yeah. I also love the drama of it and how intense he is. I just think it's brilliant. I'd love to do it, you know, he's a bit of a villain, but you also feel sorry for him. So,
Dream role or actor to work with? That's a tough one. There's too many. I don't know where to start. I want to say a good friend of mine, actually. I am a massive fan, not just because he's a friend and I'm biased. Ian Poulston Davis. I love his work in the theatre. I love his writing. I love his directing, TV directing, and he's a very successful actor on screen as well. Globally now, goodness. And he's a very dear friend of mine.
Macbeth. I did it for A-level English because I is well educated. And looking at some of the other questions, there's a good reason why Macbeth is my dream role. Probably getting to the point now where I'm going more from Macbeth into Leah territory. But yeah, I think Macbeth is definitely my dream role. Simply because it's lived with me for so long, because I had to retake my A-level. So I did Macbeth for 3 years at A-level. And it's just, and of all Shakespeare's plays, I find it the most visceral. It's very complicated play, and I've seen it many times, both on screen and at the theatre.
I tried to light a cigarette the wrong way round once. Yeah. That time.
Last year, she wasn't on stage, it was actually after the show had ended. I was waiting backstage to come on and do the bow. There was only one other person in the cast with me, my friend Emily. And we were both backstage, and now the show ended with a video projection announcing my character's death. And that played, and then we came on and we did the bow. So while we're waiting backstage to do the bow, Emily said something to me about it. And I thought she'd said we were late for the bow. So I panicked, jumped up, ran on stage without Emily, got on and realised, oh my God, this video footage is still playing, the show's not ended, I'm not meant to be here. I thought the best course of action was to just wing it and just bow and hope the audience went along with it. They didn't go along with it, no one clapped. So I was stood on stage in darkness watching this video of me dying and bowing. So I ended up looking like some weird ghost. Yeah, not a great moment.
I think it probably has to be when I was in year 8 and we did a production of Bugsy Malone and I played Fizzy, and there's a scene just before Fizzy does a song Tomorrow where there's a bunch of chorus girls supposed to come in and interact with Fizzy, and the girls missed the cue, which meant I was left on stage sweeping up, probably for only about 2 minutes, but it felt like forever.
My most embarrassing moment on stage was when I did West Side Story at college, and we had this big scene coming up. It was Officer Krupke, the song. So it went on for quite a while, a lot of moving about, we're all over the place. And we did it in the round, so there was no hiding. So then it became difficult to hide the fact that I had a nosebleed throughout the whole scene. Went on stage, I thought, what's that? I looked, there's blood all over my hand. And so throughout the whole song, the whole number, I had to go around like that, try and cover it up. No one actually noticed in the audience. I don't know how, but they didn't. And I went off stage, tried to clean myself up a bit. But yeah, that was terrible.
Yeah, this is a bit embarrassing, but I've played it out. So it was my first job working at Warner Leisure Hotels as a lead production vocalist in like cruise ship work kind of shows. And for some reason, I mean, it's such a tiring job. You're so tired because you work and you do the quizzes and things like that in the day, and then at night you do the shows. And you'd rehearse at night as well. Like when you finish the shows, you'd do your rehearsals in the evening till like 4 a.m. It's crazy hours. Anyway, I was so tired, and I was in a like a rock and roll show, and all the dancers went on to do this big number, and I came on at the wrong time. So I just like styled out these dance moves at the back of the stage and like kind of danced my way off the stage. I won't say I was embarrassed. I think I found it kind of funny within myself. Obviously, my manager wasn't too happy.
There's a stage actor who I love called Andy Nyman, who I've not actually seen him. I've never seen him live on stage. I've seen stuff he's done. I think he was in Fiddler on the Roof last year. He was in Ghost Stories. I think he's incredible, Andy Nyman. I think there's a real naturalism to the way he performs, and I think he's really quietly really versatile. He was in Dead Set as well as Pat, the TV exec. I thought he was great in that.
Sir Ian McKellen, hands down. I've seen him a number of times in the theatre, and he brings such vibrancy and energy and connection, and I find him mesmerising. And every time I see him, I learn something new about my craft. I would have to stop with the fangirling and detach from the fact that he is Sir Ian McKellen. But that's what rehearsal's for. And I suppose, actually, talking about fangirling, Maxine Peake. Yeah, that would be good.
There are two actors that I would give anything to work with. In film, it would be Leonardo DiCaprio, because everything that man does, he has such a rawness and such a commitment to his roles. You can tell it's been a lifetime that he has honed his craft, and everything he touches almost turns to gold. And watching him, you get so captivated by him. So to share an experience with him, I think, would be unreal. Yeah, he's one.
It would have to be a well-known actor that I didn't think was very good, so that I could show them up.
I think at the minute, I would absolutely love to be cast in anything with Jodie Comer. Her skills as an actor is so incredible. She's got so much freedom. She's so open to just play around. Like, her performances in Killing Eve are just something else. She's one of the best actresses that's come up, I think, in the past few years. And I think if I was to get cast in anything with her, I would be very happy. Career would be absolutely made. And yeah, Jodie Comer.
It would have to be 2 years ago when I went to see Harry Potter and the Cursed Child on the West End. It was unbelievable. You could just tell how much everybody cared about the project, the effects that were created. Still to this day, I have no idea how some of them were made. It was incredible, and I'm not going to say what they were because I don't want to spoil it for anyone who hasn't seen it yet. But just the effects were amazing. The staging, the way it rotated, the way they transitioned into different scenes. The acting was incredible. Such a moving piece of drama. Funnily enough, you could tell that the bond between the characters was there, and it was just an incredible piece to watch. And being able to, it's a piece that's in two parts, and I went to see the part two later in that evening, and for the whole interval of the shows, you couldn't stop thinking what was going to happen next. It was just an incredible piece of theatre.
I saw a piece of theatre at Edinburgh Fringe once. It was part of the International Fringe, and it was the most extraordinary piece of theatre I've ever seen. It was a circus show as well, and it had like over 100 performers. I think they were from Russia, and it was Dr. Faustus basically, and it was the most fantastic piece of theatre I've ever seen in my life, because you're all sat in the audience watching, Dr. Faustus and everybody on the stage, and like people came up from the stage and things like that. And then we were all just sat watching it, and all this fire and all these things happened. And then the stage started to open, and then these people with like pig heads came out and like pointed at you and told you to come forward and got everyone to get out of the seats. There was hundreds in the audience. We all got out of our seats, had to walk through the stage, and then we ended up in hell. And it was just amazing. It was massive, and there was hundreds and hundreds of performers, and there were like things like, you know, in like Dusk Till Dawn, where people are playing like dead bodies. They're like playing instruments and they're dead bodies and things like that. And there was the devil, and he was all in white, and he looked a bit like Frank Sinatra, and he was like conducting everyone. And there was loads of horrible, horrific things happening in hell, but it was amazing.
But my favourite piece from growing up was Northern Broadside's version of Canterbury Tales, which doesn't sound, it's Canterbury Tales, it's a really old story, but the way they did it, every single piece of the story was told in a different way of telling it. There were puppets, there was movement, some were really straight, some were really funny, some was very immersive, some was very out, and it just completely captivated you at every point. I was laughing one minute, I was profusely crying the next, and the entire thing was just an absolute joy to watch. And it was because you could tell the actors were just having so much fun with it and really enjoying what they were doing. So yeah, that production's really, really stuck with me. It was directed by a guy called Conrad Nelson. Yeah, and I'll never forget that one. That was a brilliant piece of theatre.
So the first one is Macbeth. The first piece of theatre I saw was Macbeth, and that was I saw it at the Trafalgar Studios in London with James McAvoy as Macbeth and Claire Foy as Lady Macbeth, and it was something like, it was set in a dystopian future, and McAvoy was just Scottish. He was so Scottish. He conveyed the character so well, better than anybody I've seen before, and I've seen it many times before. Another one was David Morrissey in the last play at the Old Everyman in Liverpool, but McAvoy was something else at it, and he just awe-inspiring.
Knowing who your character is, don't just think about the story that you're performing. Think about where has that person been previously. I always think about like what life experiences they've been through, and it kind of helps connect the story and makes your performance better. But I think my number one top tip is just like, be yourself, be confident. If that character enhances the good things about you, bring that to the character. And yeah,
especially in lockdown at the moment, don't feel like you have a need to create. It's okay to be not busy. Take time out from social media as much as you can. Like read a book, or watch films and watch theatre from home, like some of the National Theatre stuff. Barbershop Chronicles, phenomenal piece, and just learn about your craft. Like the performance can wait. This moment in time, it's all about your mental health, and just keep checking in with yourself.
Tip that I would give to other actors is one that I've heard quite a few times: don't act, be. When you're creating a character, when you're on stage, you shouldn't be thinking about, how am I going to say this line, how have I rehearsed this? No, you just need to be in the moment, completely immerse yourself, and just live through that character. Like I said before, back to the first question, that's what theatre means to me, is being able to be someone else, not act as someone else. So yeah, don't act, be.
I think my top tip for actors, apart from the obvious ones, turn up on time, know your lines, is to be nice. There's so much to be said for just being nice. Why would somebody want to work with you for sometimes 6 months if you're not a nice person? I know so many actors that have got just a massive ego and think they're better than people. And I know so many people that won't work with certain people because they've got a reputation for not being nice, being really difficult to work with, not being professional. So yeah, just be nice, be approachable, walk into a room with a smile on your face.
I think finding your best methodology is individual to each actor, and I don't feel comfortable sort of lecturing on that one. What I would say is be professional. Turn up on time. Know your lines. Know what you're supposed to be doing. Do it politely and courteously, where necessary with a smile. Yeah. And try and enjoy it. Gosh, it's a fantastic job. The least you can do is enjoy it.
I would be as truthful as you can in scenes. Just play the truth confidently, and out of that, you'll make something interesting. I think that's an improv technique, really, but I think it applies to all sorts of acting.